How y'all doing? This is Jamba yet again with another video. We are at part two of Wheat Waffles. Five reasons why men are walking away from dating. Oh boy. Wheat Waffles. Fair use, man. Fair use. I got to remind myself to put a link to this guy's channel. He has a pretty big channel, so he doesn't need my help. But yeah, man, I wanted to do a reaction video to this, and I did part one, and it was about, I think, an hour long. It's a pretty long video. Like, the time just got away from me, so I definitely want to do the next part of this, and hopefully I can finish this up in this video. If not, then I guess we'll have a part three. So where are we? We are right here. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, I'm just rewinding it. Yeah, the sound was off. So before I dive in, yes, I believe that men are walking away from dating. There's been hundreds, if not thousands, of YouTubers have talked about this very topic. I am not going to tread new ground here. I think that We Waffles has done a pretty well done job so far of breaking these reasons down, right? So if you want to know what the first few reasons I believe were, either watch my previous video on this, or you could just go back and just watch his video without some black dude in the lower left hand corner of the video talking through it. But if you want to join me in discussing this, then yeah, here we go.
What's happening outside is the polar opposite. Point 3. Outside of dating, there are now many more opportunities for happiness than ever before. Think about this for a second. What is dating's main competitor?
Sex
You
bot.
might think it's a bit of an obscure question, but actually think about it for a sec. I would say the main competitor for dating is dopamine and relaxation activities. The more time and availability people have for these things, the less of a concern dating becomes for them. Think about it this way: 60 years ago, if you didn't have a TV in your house, let alone Wi Fi, smartphones, iPads,
To his point, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of distractions. Look, man, like, I mean, with I got Wi-Fi. I don't have a PlayStation, but I got TV. I got a projector. I was watching Oppenheimer on my projector earlier. I got, you got YouTube. You have your hobbies. You have, you can read. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, not just as just he's talking about electronics, which is correct here. I mean, I'm not a video game player myself, but I mean, I can only imagine. If you got the latest game system, you gotta if you invest in a pretty good, um, you know setup. I can only bet how cool that is. I mean, I hear my neighbors play video games all the time. So this guy is not wrong. These are definitely distractions from dating.
Xboxes, online content, dating would likely take a much bigger level of bandwidth in your mind than it does today. After all, it was either try meet people in the real world or sit at home twiddling your thumbs. But today, we now have all of these cheap sources of dopamine millimeters away from the second we wake up to the second we go to bed. My point is, all these sources of dopamine serve as distractions from what our biology has actually evolved for us to do. And I'd argue many men are unconsciously making a choice to avoid dating by having their time sapped away via these sources of dopamine.
Yeah, I mean, he's right, and I have watched this before, and he kind of digs into how sad that a lot of men are basically unwillingly choosing to allow their time to be kind of sucked away. And he describes it, I believe, as rotting. Right? Hold on.
Of the dating market. Now, the number of men pursuing this way of life is undoubtedly increasing.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, how many guys do you know who live as basement dwellers playing Valorant and Skyrim for 12 hours a day?
Me personally, I don't know that many, but I know that there are a lot of men out there. One thing I tell men, because I talk to men, especially black men, not to make this a race thing, but I talk to a lot of men about about other men's engagement in the social life, in going out to clubs, going out to bars, going out to meet people, meet women, and those types of things. And it may seem to some that men still go out and men still go out and party and go to clubs, and to an extent they're correct. But I try to tell men, to tell people that for every one man that you see at the club, like for every guy that when you go out to the club or a bar or whatever, you see that man at the club, there are like 10 dudes at home playing Xbox, Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, whatever, Skyrim, whatever the fuck the game of the week is. For every one man at the club, there are 10 dudes, if not more, at the house. Reason being is because being at the house, I mean, look, I'm not a club guy. Where am I at? I'm not a club guy. Um, I mean, I can see, I've been out and I've had fun at the club maybe one or two times in my life, to be honest with you. But I can understand, going out to club, meeting women, whether they're your friends, meeting new people, new women, drinking, dancing, all that other stuff. I could see it being fun. It's not really my thing, but I can understand it. Um, but un- the majority of the time, it's not that. It's the reward, the work or the effort or what have you does not like kind of match. What's the word? The opportunity cost. I'm trying to figure out what the exact word is, but basically, more times than not, you go out, you put your best clothes on, you put your $75 shirt on, your $200 jeans, and you get your fit on. You go out there, you wait in line, because let's be honest, most guys when they go out, when they go to these clubs and stuff, they're waiting in fucking line. So they wait in line. It sucks, it's cold, it's whatever. Maybe they pregame before they got there. They get in, they're trying to meet some girls, but more times than not, they're not going to meet any girls. The girls are all trying to get with the same guy in a VIP. It's like this whole thing, and most dudes, if dudes, fellas, if you're listening, let's be honest. Be honest. More times than not, when these men are going to clubs, and they're going to clubs and meet women, or to maybe hook up or get a number or what have you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back home relatively unsatisfied. Now, they might have had a good time with their boys, that maybe they got some memories, or maybe it was just nice to be out and to be around women. But these men, if the goal is to meet people, socialize, they might get some socialization, but this is not a good way to meet women. But so a lot of men have, because they realize, what, all this effort that I'm putting in, whether it's going out or even if it's not a club, like it's not yielding any results. Well, shit, I might as well just stay home, and I get a guaranteed return on my investment. That's what it was, return on investment. That was the term I was looking for. But these men get a guaranteed return on investment in video games, guaranteed. It's not like a date where it's like, okay, I spend $100 on a date and I didn't get a second date. But when you spend $100 on that game, and that that downloadable content or what have you, or on that controller or on that speaker system or whatever the fuck, you get a return on investments. Like when I got my projector, that shit is pretty dope. Like I'm not gonna front. So yeah, I might speed through this just a little bit.
Loads. And that's why this point probably makes me the most sad out of all the five dating, because you've listened to the other points in this video and made the conclusion dating isn't worth the squeeze. Versus being blissfully unaware, letting time slip through your fingers, and you've spent so much of it rotting that by the time you think you should start making an effort, it's probably too late.
So basically, here he's breaking down, like, you have the one guy here, this stuff, and it's funny how like this guy looks versus how this guy looks. But this guy is consciously making a decision that he's going to quit dating, whereas this guy is just kind of stuck in this dopamine, I'm playing video games and jacking off cycle, I guess, or what have you. I mean, I don't know. I think that this guy here, if you could see my, I think you can see my mouse. I think that he doesn't care really either about dating. Like, I mean, no, that's not true. He does. He does. But he just understands on a base level that he cannot compete, and he just can't do it. Like he that's where a lot of men are right now. Yeah, yeah, some pretty bleak stuff. Let's skip ahead here to the fourth reason.
Anyway, that's point 3, and now moving on to reason 4.
There are days when the
Oh
world
boy,
is going crazy.
I'm muted. Yeah, no boy, I hope I don't get a copyright. Uh yeah, this is some good stuff so far. I might go back a little bit because there was something a little interesting that I saw. Oh, I can skip it now. I can skip it. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Okay, hold on a second. Let me. Yeah, so why you might quit? Pursuing your business career, passion, hobbies. Yeah, yeah. I mean, these are all. I mean, business. I mean, but well, having like quitting dating to pursue your business makes sense because women tend to prefer guys, obviously, who have income and have their stuff together. So going hard in your business to make another source of income or to make good money would make sense. I think I mean, these are things. Ironically, these are passion, hobby, career. These are things that women like when a man has anyway. Like a woman likes a man who has his own passions, his stuff together career wise, or a guy who has his own business, and a guy who has multiple hobbies. Then these are things that make him interesting. Ladies, it would be weird if you didn't like a man because well, I guess if his hobby is like something that is like, I don't know, like collecting Pokemon cards or something like that. But yeah, so yeah, these are things that a man can definitely get wrapped up in besides, dating and what have you. So, okay, fourth reason, zero expectations. Here we go.
On to reason 4. There are basically zero societal expectations for you to get married and start a family now.
Hmm.
60 years ago, even if you wanted to do what I mentioned in the last point,
Yeah.
spend your life at home rotting and binging dopamine, you
Look at this
didn't
guy.
really have the option to do so.
Look at this guy here, man. That is a lot of dudes. That's dudes right now. And by the way, I'm not shaming guys who play video games. I haven't played video games since my Xbox got stolen 10 years ago. Um, but yeah, this is a lot of guys right here. And a lot of guys, I mean, some of these guys are playing, they're playing on Twitch. Maybe they might be making some money from it. Maybe they're building up their streaming kind of profile. A lot of guys are just playing for fun and they're saying, fuck it, I'm gonna play for 5, 10, 11, 10 hours. Um, that's what it is. I mean, and ladies, like you, this. I'm not going to say that games are a substitute for sex and relationships, but I don't know, man. I think it's pretty damn close to it for a lot of these guys here.
So because it would eventually get to the point where your parents would be sick to death of your existence. They'd kick you out the house and leave you to fend for yourself. Back then, as soon as you became an adult, it was a matter of find a partner, then get married, then start a family, then work for 40 years, or rot in the streets. In some circumstances, your parents would try to set you up with a daughter from another family if it meant moving you along in life.
This should happen more in real life. If this happened more in real life, we wouldn't have a lot of problems. Men and women wouldn't have as many issues as they do. Like I don't think a lot of the manosphere and all that other stuff and that red pill stuff wouldn't exist as big as it does now. A lot of the stuff on TikTok with women complaining about dating wouldn't exist like that. I think that if you had more families who said, "Hey, I have a daughter and I think your son over there looks like they would be a good fit. Let's try to match them up in their early 20s while they're still in school at the very least," or it's kind of something. If this happened more, then I think America would would benefit. And this is like every race, black, white. I think Indians, I think they already have arranged marriages. I'm not saying arranged marriages. I'm just talking about setting up.
However, today, there simply isn't this pressure,
Nope.
let alone force to try hurry you into getting to the next stepping stones of life. Today, if you want to live at home rotting playing video games for 12 hours a day, a lot of parents will give you that freedom until you're 30, something that would have been utterly laughable just 2 generations ago. Additionally, another point that got the ball rolling for couples back then was what's known
I don't know. I don't know if until 30. I mean, I mean, sure, some parents got to be letting that happen, but um, I think what's more likely to happen, if we're being honest here, what's most likely to happen is if you're talking about a man, is that that man would be at home working, probably working full time or maybe part time, but maybe something in between, and paying paying his rent, which will be significantly less than if he was to go out and have his own spot. um and then maybe playing video games every now and again. I don't think that if you're having a stepbrother situation or some shit where a kid is just mom, like I don't think we're guys in there and who are 27 are just playing video games for I don't think. Yes, I think that is things that is happening in a very very small percent, but most men who are living at home are working to some degree. Like these, there most of these houses where the sons and daughters are like 24, 25, 26, 27, they're more times than not they're working, they're doing stuff, they're having their lives and what have you. We're just talking about really shitty economics, inflation. Y'all know the drill.
as shotgun marriages, where if you got a woman pregnant, you'd more or less be forced to marry her. The idea being that if you didn't marry her, then her father would come round your house with a shotgun and use it to persuade you. There was no birth control back then, and abortions were heavily frowned upon, if not illegal in some nations. So if you got a woman pregnant, you had little room to worm your way out of it. However, today, you are free to run around dating casually or stay at home rotting. In fact, you basically have the freedom to do anything throughout your teens and 20s with little to no urgency to rush into a relationship or marriage.
I think, yeah, I think these are like, I'm not gonna say they're two extremes. The whole rotting, I just don't think that a lot of men are necessarily quote unquote rotting. I think that they're working, and then when they're not working, they might try to date, but since it's too hard, they just focus on other stuff, video games being one of them. But I will agree. I mean, to the core of this is that, yeah, there isn't a sense of urgency. And I think part of the blame is the parents, because I parents and do tell their, especially their daughters, to wait. Um, I might do a video on this specifically. I think that the main reason why marriage is delayed later is because more times than not the woman doesn't want to get married early on. Um, yeah, I mean, sure, men definitely. There's a lot of men who are like, okay, I'm 20, 23, 24. It's too early for me to get married. But yeah, I won't touch on that now. I'll say that for another video.
Society just doesn't care about these things anymore. And in fact, in some cases, kids are seen as a nuisance or hindrance to
That is true,
yours
and
or
that's
other people's lifestyles.
yeah.
No wonder the birth rate in basically every Western nation is collapsing. Anyway, finally moving on to the final reason why men are walking away from dating.
I think this is the probably one of the bigger reasons that this in the first one.
Reason 5. There are way higher stakes to getting married and starting a family nowadays.
Hmm.
Excuse me? Well, I asked for no ice, but there's ice in here.
No problem, dear. Just get up in there.
Here are the facts. The average net worth of most families has increased twofold in the last 30 years. Would you want to risk losing half of it in a divorce? Not including the lawyer fees, potential alimony payments, and child.
Yeah, I mean, divorce is one of the main things that men fear when delving or trying to get married and into, which sucks, man. I think I will say, man. I mean, now, and I'll keep playing the video, but um, this is a tricky thing. I mean, this is some, as a dude who's in my early 30s now. It's my birthday today, by the way. Um, this really sucks, man. Just because as a man, you want to logically make sound good decisions for your life. You see the statistic, but at the same time, also statistically, if you want to have kids, you want to have a family, whether it's for religious reasons, it's for just family building, and just for personal reasons, you want to be married. But then you see this, you see the odds, and I don't know. And I might react to one of Matt Walsh's videos. Because Matt Walsh basically kind of breaks down how men should not even necessarily worry too much about the whole divorce thing because it's about who you marry. But I don't know. I think that most men, and I like, and I'm a keep playing a video, but I think most men who get married believe that they're marrying the right person more times than not. So I don't know. This is some very unfortunate stuff here, but let's keep playing.
Cold support. Furthermore, in parallel to this, the probability that you'll end up losing half your net worth is higher than ever before. As I'm sure a lot of you
So what he's basically saying here is that before you have to, well, now you have to be richer or have more money to even, and especially as a man, let's be honest, as a man, you have to earn significantly more than your father and your grandfather to get married. And that's one thing I'm kind of noticing. Like what I'm noticing in my own personal life, and when I look at the people who are married, these are men in relationships who are making significantly more than average and than the average income. So they're basically kind of put in a position toward their woman to be a good candidate for marriage. So whoever the average earning guy is, like a guy, and ladies, if I'm wrong, let me know. If for a guy who's like, let's say in his I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, if the average income is like 40 to 50K, which I think is like somewhere in between there, on paper, that is not a good marriageable candidate to a lot of women. Now, if that guy is like really attractive, then his attractiveness kind of offsets the fact that he works at, UPS or Papa John's or whatever. Um, but if he's like an average dude and making average money, on paper, he's not seen as that is not seen as a marriageable like dude. So you have to be making a significant amount to for a woman for a lot of women to be like, okay, that's a marriageable guy, but which wasn't the case before, and then now, but the risk in the divorce rate is a much higher. So it's kind of like I have to do more. And on top of that, there's a higher risk, which is crazy. Whereas back then we had to do less or make less. Or I shouldn't say less. You just, you go to work and you make average money and the risk was a lot lower. So yeah, the risk is higher and there's a higher price of admission to be married as a man.
already know, the probability of divorce is close to 50%. A literal coin flip.
Mhm.
Would you want to flip a coin to risk losing half your net worth? This is why a lot of people view marriage as a negative free roll. At best, it will lead to neutral outcomes, and at worst, it will lead to negative outcomes.
I think that's true, but I think there's more. So I think it could be it's either positive or negative, because if you get married and it's a good, you have a good relationship and your kids turn out pretty well, like I think there is a decent chance that it can come out as positive if you're both kind of in it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something there.
Now, me saying all this, it might not be relevant to you, because you might be religious and believe it's your duty to get married because God.
Look at this guy right here. Look at this dude. They got 3 kids. What are they, like Mormons? Look at that guy. See, these two people look like they match. Like she looks like she should be with him and he looks like he should be with her. Now, to the point that he was making a lot earlier, I think it was right here. If she was 23 and he was 24, I don't know if she would swipe right on his profile. I don't think she would. I don't think she would. I don't think she would. So she's going to probably wait a little bit later on until she. Anyways, let me stop.
Told you to. But first, nowhere near as many people are religious anymore. And second, in this video I'm highlighting why less men are pursuing dating and marriage. So don't shoot the messenger here. And you can't deny it, a big reason less men are pursuing this is because they are thinking rationally of the pros and cons of getting married.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like a I mean I'm a person of faith. Yeah, it's kind of like you got your faith and but God gives you that discernment, man. So it's kind of like, all right, I do I do want this religious situation with the woman that I love, and to be married and all that other stuff. But at the same time, I'm looking at the numbers here. God is like, what's going on? So yeah, no, it's a dilemma. But a lot of these religious men, they still going to try to get married though.
What I'm saying is, if you want to get married because you're religious, then you're more than welcome to. But I'm speaking for the majority of young men who aren't and thus should view marriage as a purely logical decision. So, if you are non religious, then marriage is literally a contract.
I'll be honest, guys in particular who are not religious, what's the reasoning? Maybe somebody could put it in the comment section if whoever's watching this. What's the reason to get married if you don't like believe in? I'm talking about as a man. Like if you're not religious, why get married? Especially as a man, I wouldn't understand that. Like if I wasn't a religious person, I would not get married. I am primarily getting married because as a Christian, I'm supposed to. Well, yeah. I mean, and there's like more to it. I mean, I came from married parents and all that, but if the secular version of me, the atheist version of me, just would not, marriage wouldn't even be in my peer view. It wouldn't even be in my orbit at all. I'm holding this half a pen here.
I'll say that again. If you are non religious, then marriage is literally a contract. Not many people nowadays view marriage as this mystical, magical thing where
Right.
you're making God proud and raising a family all in His name. If you sign your name on that dotted line, you're basically agreeing to a 50% chance of losing 50% of your net worth.
That's
And let's not forget the 20k party that lasts one day you'll end up paying for. But just focusing on this part, this is why
I'll be honest with you. And how much time do I have left on this video? Oh, there's a little bit. I guess just a little bit more. I'll be honest with you, right? So there's a couple of things that I'm looking at here, right? He says a 20K party, but I'm assuming the wedding. Now, if you marry the right woman, I don't. I if you marry the right woman, fellas, that this shouldn't be the case. Like this whole 20, I mean, even if like her parents pay, spending 20,000 on a wedding where that money can go to a house, it can go to, you know, property, it can go to like kind of something else, like something more important. Like I said, probably like a house or or something like that, or mortgage or whatever. Um, yeah, if she needs this, then that's probably an indication that you probably shouldn't marry that person, because they're thinking more so about the event, her feelings, and wow, the marriage and the party and the blah blah blah, which I can understand, ladies, but at the same time though, just you know yeah, that's too much. Now, it doesn't. Now, I'm not saying that a married that just go to the freaking courthouse and have Elvis and at Vegas marry you or whatever. But I think something significantly more modest than this. I mean, the 20K, I think that's quite a bit. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you sign a dotted line, you're agreeing to 50-50 chance of losing 50% of your net worth. I am okay with the splitting of to a certain degree. I would only be okay with it if the woman were to build with that man. So if you have a situation where that woman gets with this man while he's in college, while, you know what I'm saying, he's still trying to figure some stuff out, and then together they go on to, you know, he runs a business, he helps him out, sports and blah 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 blah. And then something down the line, you know, maybe, you know, they just grow apart, whatever. In that instance, I am more so okay. Like I'll be okay with this. Like I like if I started the new Amazon and my girl was there before I started Amazon and she helped me develop the new Amazon 2 and we break up, then yeah, like I think she will deserve half of fucking Amazon 2. But if you came to me after I came up with Amazon 2 and you just said, "Hey, I'm here now," after you didn't already built it, then yeah, I think it is fucked up if you take half of it if you didn't build it. So I'm of two minds about this. It just depends on the situation.
I recommend to any man looking to get married, it's always a good idea to sign a prenup to ensure your wealth gets divided fairly, in the not so unlikely chance you split up. Anyway, that's the final point of the video, and
All right, Waffles. Appreciate you letting me react to your video. This is significantly shorter than the last video. But yeah, man, I'm probably gonna do another one of these reactions. It may not be we waffles for a bit. There's another guy whose reaction, his name is Jenner. Yeah, I might do his video next. But yeah, so that is part two of why men are walking away from dating. What do you think? There's just anything that he might have missed? I think that he was pretty on point, but I think the main reason was the first reason. I think that it's very very hard and for a lot of men, and they're not necessarily seeing the benefits. The benefits are not necessarily outweighing the effort that a man would have to put out there. So, but yeah, I find these videos to be interesting. Please like the video, share it if you want to, comment, like, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. This is Jamba, and we are out of here.